Alright lads, it's Goblin here, and today is a bit of a discussion video. It's also a bit of an insight into a new series I'm going to be starting soon. But this is a response to basically a forum created by PLav and a video created by PLav, and the simple fact that a lot of famous streamers and YouTubers are actually quitting the game. And it's because of this statement, which is the fact that people are saying that there's a serious lack of PvP content in the game, and in this video we're going to, well, effectively evaluate that statement. I mean, so if you think about it, over Battlegrounds currently we only have, we only have 3 modes, and for Raid Battlegrounds you have 2, and that is Capture the Flag or Domination, or a combination of both, or Moving Domination. And that is, so there's basically two frames, 2 models for a battleground in World of Warcraft. Think about games like Halo. I mean, I used to play that when I was a lot younger. If you looked at like the matchmaking thing, there was just fucking loads of different modes, like Team SWAT, Capture the Flag, Juggernaut, King of the Hill. What else are there? Social Team Slayer, Team Rockets, Rocket Race. There were so many different modes that you could play with, and World of Warcraft has 2. How? I mean, think about that for a second. World of Warcraft has 2 battleground models for you to play with, and it has done for 10 years, 10 nearly 11 years. How the fuck does that happen? I mean, seriously, Halo was out. I must have played Halo for about 2 years, 3 years, and there were loads of fucking things you could do in the matchmaking system. Even games like Call of Duty have more variety in PvP content. And so does like games like Counter-Strike and stuff like that. It just absolutely makes sense how it doesn't make sense how a game could be out for 10 years, be making so much money, and not only have a serious lack of creativity in the PvP aspect of a game. What the game really needs are new battleground modes. Very simply, you know, in Raft we got siege modes, which everybody hated because they did it really bad. We just need a new battleground mode. Okay, I have a few ideas myself. I was thinking, very simply, why not have a deathmatch mode? A lot of people have been saying this, but obviously you just don't want that kind of team fight going on for the whole time, do you? Because that'd be a little bit boring. But I was thinking, you know, there are parts of a map that you have to go to, for instance, to get certain bonuses. I mean, I don't understand why Blizzard is so scared of giving people bonuses in PvP. I mean, you know, perhaps you have to go to a certain area and you fight over this place. Like when it's just basically a bit like Silver Shard Mines. When you kill someone, you know, when there are less people in the car, you start to capture it, and you know that kind of thing. But perhaps when you capture it fully, that your team gets a certain bonus, like a damage buff or a defense buff or a speed buff, or perhaps something a bit more creative, like perhaps every time you attack someone, you spawn this big ass fucking demon. Where you have a chance to proc this big demon, where you know, it does some damage or it does some CC, or for instance, perhaps you actually just get a load of minions on your team to fight for you. I mean, that's quite an interesting idea. It's a bit like Heroes of the Storm, and you know, those kind of games. There's millions of ideas out there. Well, not millions, but there are loads of already, you know, in the gaming in the gaming world. There are loads of PvP games with loads of unique game modes. I don't understand why Blizzard just can't take influence from those game modes. You know, from like games like Halo, Counter-Strike, Call of Duty. I mean, they're all out there. I mean, why can't we just implement something like that into World of Warcraft? I don't understand the trouble, because this game has been out for 10 years and they've failed to come up with something new for 10 years. It's pretty fucking stinky and appalling, let's be honest. I also had this idea that they should create basically 3 to 5 new battlegrounds, completely new, different modes, very unique, very creative, and scrap all the old ones so we don't have to play them anymore. However, because, you know, they're kind of nostalgic and all that shit, each week one of the classic battlegrounds becomes available. So, you know, you got a Tuesday. You can play Alteric Valley if you queue up for it. Even Raid Battlegrounds, well, not Alteric Valley, Raid Battlegrounds. I've only done that once before. But you know, something like you know, then the next day it's Warsong Gulch, on the Friday it's Rafi Basin, you know, that kind of thing, just so we're not playing over the same shit over and over again. And also, let's be honest, the arena maps have been very, very, very similar for 10, well, bit less years. I mean, you know, you just have a bunch of pillars on the map, a platform, and that's about it. That's all we have. I mean, what the fuck? And people have been suggesting like lava pits and, you know, stuff like that, which I think is a pretty good idea also. What I've been thinking is a completely different mode for PvP, like, you know, separate to arenas and battlegrounds, and it's kind of like a survival mode, which is going to be, which I've taken influence from games like DayZ, yeah, that's what it's fucking called. There's no such word as Z. That isn't a fucking letter in the English alphabet, okay? Anyway, let's not get onto that fucking topic. You know, survival mode. So you've got this big ass map. If they could even take the map of the game to be lazy, and you know, you're in this map. Sorry for hitting the mic there. You're in this map, and perhaps there are certain mobs within the map that can kill you, and you have to survive. But perhaps you have to you know, you perhaps have to kill them to get some kind of reward, and there's also other players knocking about that you can kill to get some kind of reward. And you know, when you die, that's it, you're out, and the last one surviving, you know, wins. Or perhaps it's just like an ongoing thing. Like you just go into the world and it's there permanently or something. I don't know. But, you know, I mean that is a really cool idea. I don't understand why they would implement something like that. It would even encourage PvE players to get involved. In fact, it's almost like creating a completely new game, and I think it's a really interesting idea. You know, it's a bit like the Hunger Games, isn't it? You know, that kind of, you're in that big environment and you have to, you know, fend for yourself. I think it's a really cool idea. I don't understand why that thing hasn't been implemented. Well, anyway, I'm going to leave the video for today there. I'm gonna start making videos in like this in a lot more detail, which you know, basically I'm going to attempt to recreate the game in a better community fueled image, if you get what I mean. And you know, there is a serious lack of PvP content in the game, and I think it is about time that Blizzard did something about it, because I'm honestly getting bored. I mean, I've barely pushed rating in Arena this season, which is partly because I don't like playing Frostback too much, but I mean, I can live with that as long as the game was fucking interesting itself. If the game was interesting itself, I probably would have pushed rating by now. But honestly, what I'm doing these days is playing Unholy and raiding, and I'm actually getting some pretty good progress in raiding, and I'm enjoying it quite a lot. It's quite surprising. I haven't raided in years, but yeah, I mean, there needs to be a change. Something really needs to fucking happen to this game. Otherwise, it's just going to go further and further downhill. Why the fuck would you make a patch which literally just does a load of fucking things for the garrison? I mean, PvPers don't really care about the garrison that much. It doesn't really give us a massive amount of benefits, to be honest, does it? So, you know, something needs to happen. More content needs to be created, and you know, it's textbook stuff, really. I mean, I bet the community has thousands of ideas to improve this game, and I don't understand why Blizzard just won't, you know, just fucking listen for once. It would do themselves a favour, to be honest, wouldn't it? It would do us a favour. But my name is the Meta Goblin, and until my next video, ciao!
My friend, I can't seem to stand. Nothing changes inside of me. I'm tiredly pushing the limits I built in my system. I can get rid of